Hi everyone, and welcome to my live creative time today. My name's Mandy Witherby from Mandy's Papercraft Creations, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Sydney, Australia. It's great to be here for another live creative session. I have got a beautiful card for you today, so I hope that you enjoy this. Now, while we're waiting for everyone to find their notifications that I've gone live, I'll just bring this up on my other devices so I can see everyone's comments there. So let me just get that ready. Okay. How is everybody's Thursday so far? So I'm coming live at a little bit of a different time today. Let me just bring that one up there. There we go. So usually I come live at 11 a.m. on a Thursday, but I couldn't make it at 11 today, so I just pushed it back a little bit to 1 o'clock. So there you go. All right, so hopefully a few people will find me today. If not, then I'm sure that a lot of you will see this on the replay. So if you are watching the replay, feel free to still leave comments. And give me some likes and some hearts. That would be much appreciated if you like what you see. And if you're watching over on YouTube, thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel. And if you want to subscribe so that you can, and also click on the bell notification so that you can get notified when I upload new videos, and you'll be sure never to miss anything. So you can do that below the video. So I will put all of my links today in the description of the videos once I finished filming. Once I upload this to YouTube, all the links will be there for you. So as I said, we've got a beautiful card today. We're going to be making a pop-up card. So I haven't made this particular one prior to this project. This is a new project that I learnt to make from a friend of mine, which I'll tell you more about in a little bit. But before we do that, let me just tell you that we have got some exciting new products available. So Stampin' Up! Has released some new products in the online store called Online Exclusives. So these ones are called online exclusives because you won't find these in any catalogue. They're only going to be in the online store. People can still order these through their demonstrator as you would normally. It's just that they are not going to be featuring in any publication, so not in any catalogue or anything like that. So there's all different beautiful products. I've got a few of them here that we're going to play with today, but there are some additional ones that we didn't know about. So we've got this cute little rhino. This is going to be so popular. This is called Rhino Ready. And there's a stamp set and a die set that goes with it. And that one's on my wish list. So I'll be probably getting that one in my next order. So check those out. You can head over to my online store and click on Online Exclusives, and you'll find them there. You can get to my online store through my blog, which is mandyspapercraftcreations.blogspot.com. While you're there, subscribe to my newsletter as well. That would be awesome. And then I can keep you up to date with all the latest Stampin' Up! News. I can give you creative inspiration over there and keep you up to date with all of my classes as well. And for any new subscribers, when you subscribe to my newsletter, you will get an exclusive PDF tutorial that is only for my newsletter subscribers. So that'll be sent to you when you subscribe. You can also go to my website and you can have a look there as well at my online store. So you can get to my online store either way. There's a shop button on both of those. So head over there and take a look. Now there's a couple of returning products as well that have come back. We've got some of the large circle punches, which we're going to be using today. We've got the 2-inch and the 1 3/4-inch circle punches, which is awesome. Now I kept all of my circle punches because I thought one day they might make a return. I just had an inkling, and I think circle punches and some of those larger shape punches, they always come in handy. Even though we've got all of our dies, we don't always have all the dies in the exact same sizes. And so some of those favorite punches that I love, I always hang on to, and those circle punches were 2 of them. So now I've been able to pull them back out and reuse them. Hey Brenton, how you going? Great to have you with us. So you ordered the rhinos today? Oh, fantastic. Well, you ordered most of the online exclusives. Ah, good on you. That's exciting. Very good, very good. So the other thing that has come, that was released yesterday as well, along with those online exclusives, was a new kit. So I didn't get a chance to print out the flyer to show you, but it's called the Colourful Kaleidoscope Kit, and it is gorgeous. If you love geometric patterns, bright, fun colours, and if you love kaleidoscopes, remember those kaleidoscopes we had when we were children? And I know that children nowadays still have them. Even when I was working at the preschool, we had one there for the preschool children, and it's got the little coloured crystals in them. You hold it up to the light and you twist them and you get all those beautiful patterns. That's what these cards look like. They are beautiful. So check them out in the online store. You can find those both in the kits collection, because they are part of the kits collection. You can also find them in the online exclusives as well. So you will find that when you go to the online exclusives, you will find all of the kits there, and some other products, some of the logo merchandise as well. They're also been added to the online exclusives because they're only available online. You can't get them from any catalog as such. Well, they're not in any catalog as such. So you'll see some things that have been around for a little bit that have been added to the online exclusives as well as those brand new products, the new kit, and those returning punches as well. There's also some beautiful new ribbon in silver and gold, which I have to get because I love silver and gold ribbon, and it's very fine. I think it's like, what's the small, is it an 1/8 of an inch, or I can't remember the width, but it's very fine ribbon anyway. Brenton might know, he just ordered some. He said he ordered almost everything in the online exclusive. Did you get that ribbon, Brenton? Did you get the silver and gold ribbon? Maybe he can let us know if he knows the width of those ones. But yeah, really beautiful. So head over to the online store and have a look. Now, those products that are in the online store, we don't know how long they're going to be around for. They don't have an end date. Oh, you didn't get the ribbon, unfortunately. Oh, that's okay. No worries. Yeah, so there's no end date to these products, so they could end at any time. We don't know. It depends on the supply. It depends on the popularity of the products, and yeah, so if there's anything in there that you do like and you don't want to miss out, then be sure that you grab it, because we don't really know when they're going to retire. So, and Stampin' Up will add new products to the online exclusives from time to time, and I will let you know when more products get added. So, oh, there you go. Amber has let us know. Thank you, Amber. The gold and silver trim combo pack is 1/8 of an inch, which is 3.2 millimeters. 3.2 millimeters, is that right? Yeah. Thanks so much, Amber. Really beautiful ribbon. So I'll be getting my hands on some of those. Alrighty, so I'm going to jump into our project today. Now, if you have got any questions that you would like to ask me about Stampin' Up products, about joining my team, because we always love to welcome new team members to our crafting community. So if you would like more information about any of that, please feel free to get in contact with me. And you can do that either via Messenger, you can give me a phone call. All of my contacts are up in my bio. If you have specific questions about what we're playing with today, then feel free to pop them in the comments, and I'll be able to see those and answer your questions. All right, let me take a little sip of water. We're going to be doing some techniques. We're going to be doing a fun fold, a pop-up card. I'm going to play with some of those new products and some of the returning products. So lots is going to be happening today. So we are going to jump in. Feel free to chat with me as we are creating as well, but we're going to jump straight in. So I'm going to cover up my camera, tip that down onto my desktop, and then we can get started. So bear with me for one moment. Here we go. Oh, move that down a little bit. There we go. All right. just adjust these cameras. Oh, my power cord is stuck. There we go. Couldn't adjust my cameras because it was plugged in. Okay. Oh, it's a bit squeaky. I'll tie that up nice and tightly though. Alrighty. So I've got a piece of large grid paper today. I've got a bit of ink on there. This just before I was going to go live, I was prepping a few bits and pieces for the card today, and just some additional pieces. And I accidentally over inked when I was preparing some of those pieces and got a little bit of ink on there. But I thought, you know what? It's only a little bit. It's only going to get more inky when we're creating today. So I thought I'm not going to bother changing the paper. So we're just going to use what we have. All right, so I'll just pop these up the top. So there is my my contacts, so you can get in, you can find my online store through my blog or my website. This is my host code. This is my March 2023 host code. So if you are shopping with me, please use my host code. With all orders over $75, when you use my host code, I will send you a thank you gift. So be sure to use my host code so that I can send you that gift. All right, I'm going to pop a little bit of blue tack. Is one of my little secrets. I'm going to pop a little bit of blue tack just under that grid paper to hold that in place while we are creating. Hey, Laurie, how you going? Great to have you with us today. How is the weather over there in Ohio today? All right. Oh, we're a little bit crooked, aren't we? Let's just straighten that up a tad. There we go. Okay. So the card, oh my goodness, I just split my nail. How did I do that? I don't know. Hang on, I've got to pull off that broken bit. Otherwise, it's going to annoy me the whole time. There's nothing worse than a split nail and it's sitting there and annoying you. Alrighty. Okay, so let me show you the card that we are creating with today, or the card that we are creating today, and then I'll show you some of the products that we're going to be using. So this is my card for today. Now it might, beautiful springy day today. Awesome, Laurie. Doesn't feel like spring though. Okay. Well, we're in autumn now. We just started the first day of autumn yesterday. So, but it's a bit overcast today here in Sydney, actually. Well, in my part of Sydney anyway, in the western suburbs. So this is the card that we're making today, using some of those beautiful new products. We've got some of the new embossing folders. We've got some of the new Hello Irresistible sweet products there with the designer series paper, some stamps. I'm using a current pick a punch for the label. We've got some of those new, what are they called? These ones, the loose frosted dots as well. They're really fun to play with. They're really pretty. So you might think, oh, it doesn't look like much of a pop-up card. But when you open the card, there's your pop-up. Isn't that awesome? Now, I learned to make this one from my friend in New Zealand, Fiona Carson. She's a demonstrator in New Zealand, and she made some of these pop-up cards a couple of weeks ago. And I was watching her live, and so I learned how to make them. She was using some different products, and she also, the pop-ups that she was showing, some of them she had made the front as a shaker card, and then the inside had the pop-up. Yeah, so all different sorts of ways that you can make that pop up, but I'm going to show you how to do that today, and you can use all different types of products for this. So it looks like it might be a little bit complicated, but it's actually really easy. So I'm going to show you how to create that today. So that's our project. Oh, thank you, Laurie. I'm glad that you like it. Thank you. We use some of those returning punches as well, those returning circle punches there, We've got the 2-inch here for those top and bottom ones, and then this one is the 1 3/4 inch circle punch, but I wanted to bring those back in today and have a play with those. All right, so let me show you some of these beautiful products. First of all, I'm going to show you the Basics 3D embossing folders. Now, I did show these a couple of weeks ago on a Facebook Live, which was before they were actually available. Now they are available, so you can find these in the online exclusives. Just one thing to tell you about the online exclusives. I've had a few people caught out with this already. If you are searching for new products, the new released online exclusive products will show up. So these will show up. All of the Irresistible blooms will show up, but the returning products such as the circle punches, they won't show up under new products because they are products that we've had before that are returning. So they'll show up under online exclusives, but they won't show up under new product. Okay, so that's just something to be mindful of. And any of those other products that are in the online exclusives, if they've been around for a little while, they won't show up. It'll only be the brand new products that'll show up under new. Okay, so you've got the two different sections. You've got new products and you've got online exclusives. They are two different sections. Glad the circle punches are back, Laura. Yes, me too. Me too. They're fantastic. All right, so we've got these 3 amazing embossing folders with these 3 details. Now I have got some embossed pieces to show you. So this is the circle, well, the polka dot, I guess you'd say, not circle, the polka dot embossing folder. And it gives you these really large polka dots. And I was actually saying last night to Amber, because we were playing with the circle punches, and I said to her, oh, they'd make good golf balls if you turned them upside down, because they've got the really big dimples in them. If you turn them upside down, die cut that in, emboss that in white, and then use your circle punch, your large 2-inch circle punch to punch that out, or your 1 3/4. If that was in white, it would look like golf balls. So that would make a great masculine card, or a female card if you have female golfers who are friends or family members. So that was an idea I came up with last night. So that's that one. And then this is this one, which is the one we're going to be using today. I thought the crosshatch was going to be my favorite, but I really love this one too. It's a really beautiful pattern. It's sort of like little, it reminds me of little starfish almost. So that's really beautiful. And then we've got this one, which is the crosshatch design, which is a really great texture as well. Is that showing up well enough in the yellow? Oh yes, I can see that on playback on my computer. So they're the new embossing folders. So I'll leave those out because we're going to be using one of those today. Oh, here's a piece of the white that I was playing with last night. And when I turned it over, I was like, oh, that looks like a golf ball. Only that this isn't round, but yeah, I thought that would make an awesome golf ball image. So yeah, punch that out with a circle. We're going to be using the Irresistible blooms, which I used a couple of weeks ago, or actually it might have been last week as well. I made a card last week, and it might have been the week before that as well. I used this. This is one of the new products that are available in the online exclusives, the Irresistible Blooms bundle. And there's designer series paper, and there's those loose frosted dots as well in the suite. So you can get them as individual products. You can purchase these two as a bundle and get that 10% discount. Or you can purchase all of the Irresistible Blooms, it's called Hello Irresistible Suite Collection as a suite and get all of them. So that would include these, the loose frosted dots, which are beautiful. We're going to play with some of those today. And then you've got the designer series paper. Oops. Oh, So I'll pull out some of that designer series paper. I've got a set here. So this is the Hello Irresistible 6x6 designer series paper. And I'll give you a little look at those papers. So these are really beautiful papers. So if you didn't see these on my live the other day, I did show these and we created with some different patterns of these, but really beautiful. We've got some returning colors in here as well, which are the let me remember, Pretty Peacock, and what was the other one again? Lost Lagoon. Lost Lagoon was a color from quite a while ago. I think that might have been around even before I was a demonstrator. So those two colors most likely are going to be returning because they're in this designer series paper. Stampin' Up! Has just announced today that there is going to be a color refresh coming up, which we're going to be given more information at the end of March. So as soon as we find out, we'll let you know. But they have announced today that yes, there is a color refresh coming. So we are assuming that those two colors are going to be returning as part of the color refresh. So in saying that about the color refresh, if there are any cardstock colors, ink pads, ink refills that you have been wanting, then make sure that you grab them soon, because those are going to, now that we know that there's going to be a color refresh, there'll probably be a rush, especially on the inks and the ink refills particularly. So make sure that you grab your ink refills for all of your ink pads so that you, so that you can grab those while they're still available. All right, let's start with this card. So I'm going to show you how to create this card today. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer. We've got three colors that we're working with predominantly. So we have got Flirty Flamingo, Petal Pink and White, and then we're just going to be adding in a little bit of the soft sea foam for the leaves as well. Okay, to create this card, we're going to create the base in Flirty Flamingo, so we'll start with that one. All right, so we're going to take a piece of A4 cardstock. Okay, so this is A4 cardstock. We're going to turn it on the long side and we're going to cut this in half at 14.85. So I'm using the measure along the top here, having my cardstock right up against that, that edge there, which will hold it in place, hold it nice and straight. We're going to 14.85, which is exactly in the middle. And I'm using my dark blade on my trimmer, which is my cutting blade. Okay, so we'll pop this piece to the side. This piece is the piece that we're going to work with. So we're going to move the cutting blade away now and we're going to score this in half at 10.5 centimeters. Okay, and then we're going to fold that in half. If you want to make sure that you get a nice evenly folded card, you can pop it up in the corner here, put it against this edge here, which is your extension arm, and put it against the edge up there. Fold it up there into the corner, push that right into the corner, and then give it a good crease. And if you want to make sure, then bring in your bone folder and burnish the edges there to make sure you get that nice crease. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to create the pop-up inside of our card. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to, I'll just give that another burnish. We're going to take a ruler now and a pencil. Oh, where's my clicky pencil? There it is. What we're going to do is we are going to measure from that folded edge. We're going to measure from that top corner. Okay, so from the left corner on that folded edge, we're going to measure at 5.5 centimeters across the top, and we're going to put a pencil mark. and then I'm going to measure down the side at 5.5 centimeters. I'm just going to turn my cardstock around to make it easier for me to see that. We're going to measure at 5.5. Now that is just under 2.25 inches. You can make these measurements. You can do 2 inches, which is just under just over 5 centimeters. That would be about 5.1 centimeters. You can go up to about 5.7 centimeters, which is about 2.25 inches. But if you go too much bigger than that, it becomes a very deep pop-up, which will then encroach on this side of your card where you're going to write your greeting. So the further across that you measure, you're going to take more from this part here and this part here. Okay, so you don't want to make it too deep. So I like this size that I've created, which is 5.5, but you can go a little bit bigger if you want to. All right, so then what we're going to do, we've got those 2 points there at 5.5 centimeters across the top and down the side. Then we are going to move our cutting blade, so our dark blade on our trimmer, we want to move that away. And we're going to use our light grey, which is our scoring blade this time. We're going to line up those 2 points. Okay, so we're going to line those 2 points up in our track. Okay, so we line those. So I've got 1 point here lined up in my track. This point here lined up in my track. So that's in the scoring track or cutting track. And then we're going to take our, and then check that again when you lay your arm down on your trimmer that you can see those points. I'll hold that up. Can you see those points are there? Might be a little bit hard to see on camera, but they are there on the track. And then we're going to score. So you need to score fairly firmly because you want to score between both layers of cardstock. So run that through, push down quite hard and score that a few times. Okay, so you should now have a score line on this side, and if you flip over, you've got a score line on the other side as well. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to take that card, we're going to open the card, and we're going to very gently just work that as we try to close the card. Actually, if you turn it over that way, oh, we need to rub our pencil marks out. Let's rub our pencil marks out before we do that. So rub out those little pencil marks. There we go. And as we fold the card, we want to work these score marks towards the inside. Okay, so just sort of manipulating them so that we're scoring them towards the inside so that it's going to fold like that. And as it starts to fold, just sort of pinch along those score lines. Okay, and then as it folds in, pinch it together like that. All right, and then take your bone folder and burnish those fold lines or those score lines on both sides. Okay, and that creates our pop-up. Okay, so that's pretty easy. You just have to, you just have to manipulate that cardstock a little bit because it's going to be fairly stiff. So you just have to manipulate that. Now, you might think, well, hang on a minute, but the front of your card was square, rectangle, Mandy. So what I did is I actually added an additional panel to the front. So see, if you flip the card over, you'll see that there. You can always add an extra panel to the back as well if you wanted to, but I didn't see the need to. Yeah, so that's what it looks like from the back. So if I opened that from the back, that's what you sort of see. Okay, so we'll create the other piece for the front now, and then I'll show you how to create the pieces for the inside. All right, so we'll take that other half of Flirty Flamingo that we had, and we're just going to cut this one in half. So we're going to cut this at 10.5. It's over that way. I'm going to cut that at 10.5 centimeters. Okay, so that now measures 10.5 by 14.85, which is exactly the same size as what this one started at. So that's going to be adhered to the front there. Okay, so then that'll be adhered to the front. We're going to decorate on there, and then you've got your pop-up on the inside. Okay, all right. Now, what we'll do next is we will create the sentiment panels for the inside. So I've got a double layer here. Basically, all you do is you cut your layers how you would normally cut them for your inserts, and then you take off that 5.5 centimeters, just like you measured for the fold. I'll show you what I mean. All right, so this is our front piece. We'll keep that to the side. We'll pop this over to the side as well. I'm going to take a piece of Petal Pink first. So this is an A4 size sheet of Petal Pink. I'm just going to cut that in half at 14.85. I'm going to turn it on the long side and cut it in half again at 10.5. So that's now a card front piece. This one I'll keep as a spare for a card base, or I might cut it down further and use it as another insert. And then this piece, we're going to take this one and we're going to cut this at 14.45. 14.45. So we're creating a 2 millimeter, or we will end up with a 2 millimeter border by 10.1. So turn it around to the short side, cut it at 10.1. Okay, so ordinarily, if this was a standard size card, this would be our layer, like that. Okay, so I'm going to add an additional layer of white on top of that, and then I'm going to show you how to create those angled edges. So we'll grab some white, and I'm just going to cut that one in half at 10.5. And then this one is going to be, and we'll put this one aside because we'll need that for some of the other pieces perhaps after. So I'm going to cut this one now at 14.05. So it's just beyond the 14, but not quite at the 14.1. And then at 9.7. Okay, so then now that should layer inside of this one. So we should end up with a 2 millimeter, if I line them up properly. So we've got 2 millimeter border and then 2 millimeter border to the Flirty Flamingo. Okay, so that's what it would look like on a normal card. But of course, we've got this angle in here. So we have to create that angle. So all we do, these two pieces that are going to be our insert, we just measure that 5.5 centimeters on each side like we did when we were creating the pop-up, and we take that off there. So if we take our ruler and we measure, let me just move that to the side for a moment. We measure that 5.5 centimeters, mark that, and then on the long side as well, measure that at 5.5 centimeters. Okay, and then we'll do the same with the white. So measure that at 5.5 centimeters across the top, and we're measuring it from that top left-hand corner. So 5.5 centimeters, and then 5.5 centimeters down the long side as well. There we go. Okay, so we've got those marks there, those marks there. Now this time, instead of scoring, we're going to cut those corners off. So we'll start with the Petal Pink. We're going to line up those marks that we just made in the cutting track again. Okay, so get those lined up. And this time we're going to cut that corner off. Okay, so we'll do the same with the white one. Line them up. We've got our 1 point here, 1 point down here. Just line them up and cut that corner off. Okay, now I'll just rub out those pencil marks and I'll move my trimmer because that's all the cutting and scoring now. You can always save these two for another project. They should form, if you've measured correctly, they should form a perfect square now too, because they are both 5.5 centimeters. So you can save those for another project. These little bits I'll throw out though, they're only tiny little scrappy bits. So we'll just rub out those little pencil marks. There we go. Now at this point, if you want to stamp a sentiment on the inside of your card, you can stamp that on this white piece now at this point before adhering that to the inside of your card. I always like to stamp my sentiments before I send a card because it depends on the occasion and who I'm sending it to as to what I decide to stamp in there. Or sometimes I don't stamp a sentiment, sometimes I just write, because it depends on how much I want to write. So then this is going to layer inside of this base. So we'll do that now. And then we can get to the fun part and we can decorate. So just add the glue around the edges there like that. And then a little bit in the middle. And then we just line that up. Oops, inside the card. There we go. Okay, so that's the first layer. And then the second layer, as I said, if you want to stamp anything on there, stamp that at this point now before adhering this in. And then just flip that over. Same again. And pop that in there. And we should have that 2mm border again. You will get a little bit of a deeper border on that angled edge just because of that angle. That's kind of just how it works out. But you'll have your 2mm border around all of the other edges. Okay, so now we've got our pop-up ready to go. Now with the front panel, I like to decorate up the front panel first before adhering that to the front, because what I found, oh, more gluey again. What I found is because it wants to pop up, because it's a pop-up card, so it wants to naturally pop up. If I adhere that now and then try to do my decorating on the top of that, like it's constantly wanting to try to pop up. So if you just do your decorating or embellishing on this panel first, and then once that's done, then it's easier to just line that up and put the whole thing on in one go. Okay, so that's our card base. So we will pop that to the side now, and I'll show you how to create the front and then how to add your flowers on the inside, because you have to be very careful how you add those. In fact, I might do that part first, because then you'll know how to do that part, and then if anybody needs to leave, yeah, because the front you can decorate in any way you like. So I might show you how to do this part first on the inside. So we'll pop that one over to the side. All right, so what we'll do, I have got some of the flowers and the leaves already stamped and die cut. I've just kept out one set to show you what I did, but I did some of them ahead of time just to save time. So I stamped a couple of each of these in Versamark and then heat embossed in white, and the same with the leaves. And then we've got the coordinating dies here as well. So I used the coordinating dies that cut out the flowers and the leaves as well. And if you haven't seen these dies before, I made a card last Monday and I made one the Thursday before that, I think, as well, using some of these other dies, which are really cool. So be sure to go back and check those in my videos if you missed them the first time. All right, so what I've got is I've got a few pieces already pre-done, as I said, just to make it a little bit quicker. I've got some flowers that I have already die cut, but I do need an extra one. So I've got some So Saffron and I've got some Petal Pink. Now with the Petal Pink, I've also got an embossed piece that we're going to use for the front. I've got my label piece as well, which I'll show you how to create. I do want to show you as well how I created these for the front, so we'll get to that as well, but I'll show you just how to do the inside first, and then I'll show you how I created these. So what I did with the leaves, I took a small blending brush. So this is soft seafoam cardstock. I stamped in Versamark. I then heat embossed in white embossing powder. And then I took my soft seafoam ink and my small blending brush, and I just added some extra ink to these to color them up a little bit more. Okay, so you can see where I have colored those on there, and we'll die cut some of those for our project. In fact, I think I'm going to need more leaves than that, so we might need to do extras, because I think I ended up using more than I thought before. With the pink flowers, with the yellow flowers, that's just So Saffron cardstock, and I took some So Saffron ink and just went over the top of that just to color them up a little bit more. If I show you the difference in color of the cardstock, you'll see how different adding that extra color, it just sort of gives a little bit of more detail to the color, a little bit more interest, rather than just having the flat color. That's just an added step. You don't have to do the extra inking step if you don't want to. I'll show you with this pink one here how I did that. So take my Flirty Flamingo ink. Oh, actually, no, I don't want my Flirty Flamingo ink, because that will be too dark. I want to take my Blushing Bride ink. So I've stamped and embossed the flower on Petal Pink. Now I found that using the Petal Pink ink on the Petal Pink cardstock, they turned out quite orange looking, but I wanted them more pinky colored to look like what was on the front, because this is more sort of pinky tones rather than the orangey tones. So I took my Blushing Bride ink, and I'll just check I don't have any Flirty Flamingo ink on my brush, because that'll be a bit too dark. Just brush that off there on my cardstock. We'll take some Blushing Bride ink, and we're just going to add that to the flower. Okay, just to add a little bit of color there to the flower. We don't want to go too dark, but can you see the difference there? You can see the difference if you compare the inside of the flower with the outside of the cardstock. Can you see how it's a little bit more pinky now? Does it show up on camera? Might need to add a little bit more. A little bit more. There, you can see that a bit better now. Okay, now because we've, so that's what I did with each of those. Because I went over the embossing, which I had heat embossed with ink, we need to just wipe that off with a tissue, because otherwise that ink is going to come off on our fingers, because it's just sitting on that shiny surface of the embossing. It doesn't actually dry on that part. So just rub that off, and you'll see it comes off on the tissue there. So yeah, so just be sure to do that. And now that one is ready to die cut. In fact, do I need that one? Yes, I do. I will need that one. Okay, so I've got all my other flowers there ready. Did the same with the green leaves. We are going to need some extra ones. So I've got 2 of the 3 leaves and 1 of the double leaf for the inside. So that's perfect for the inside. I ended up going back in and adding some extra leaves to the front afterwards, which really helped to bring in that green to the front as well. And it did make it look a bit prettier because it was a little bit plain. So we'll do a couple of those. I'll show you how to do those. So I'll bring in my Versamark. Yep, that's my new one. I'll pop these over to the side and then we'll do all the die cutting together. I've got my scrap paper for my white embossing powder. And, oh, I don't have out any more soft seafoam cardstock, so I'll just grab some. Okay, I didn't have any little scraps, so, well, none that were the right size for the leaves. So I'm just going to cut this piece. This is half of an A4 sheet. Just going to cut that in half again at 10.5. So that is now a card front size. So I saved that for another project and we can do our embossing on this one. All right, so what did I determine that I needed? Just 2 of the 2 leaves. Okay, so I'll bring in that stamp. I already have that mounted up on my block ready. So we'll just stamp a couple of these. Might stamp a 3rd one because I can, just in case we need an extra. So that's with Versamark ink. Then I will bring in, these are just 2 pieces of scrap copy, well, no, they're not scrap, they're copy paper, photocopy paper. I've just got 2 pieces laid inside of each other and I'll show you why in a moment. I'm just going to sprinkle that embossing powder over these stamped images. Tip off the excess, give a little tap on the back with my brush. There we go. Now what I do is I have these 2 pieces of paper already folded with the sort of the score line in the middle. I use one as a catcher piece and the other one as my funnel. So I'm going to funnel that back into my container. And if I happen to miss or I sneeze or something like that, this second piece of paper will catch any extra pieces of extra little granules of the embossing powder. So that's why I use 2 pieces. If you have the embossing tray, then that's great too. You can use that. Just make sure it is really clean if you have used other colors in it, especially if you've used any dark embossing powders or some metallics. Make sure your tray is completely clean before you use either white or clear with your tray, which is why I'm not using mine, because my tray isn't clean. Because I've been using it for other colors. All right, so we will, I'll get out the heat tool and I can just reach, I've got it plugged in over at my other desk at the moment. So this is the Stampin' Up! Heat tool. I can't reach it any further. Hang on a sec. There we go. The Stampin' Up! Heat tool has 2 heat settings on it. Number 1 and number 2. Number 1 is good for drying. So if you have done, say, some watercoloring or something like that, that you want to dry quickly, you can use the number 1 setting. And the number 2 setting is what we use for embossing, for heat embossing. All right, so I'll just turn that on and just heat that up for a moment first. And I'll just check to see if there's any other comments while I'm doing that. Okay, all good. All right, and then we're just going to heat these. Until that embossing powder becomes melted, until it melts, oh my goodness, I can't talk. Until it melts and becomes shiny and glossy. And you'll see it'll change color as you heat it. So just move the heat tool. There we go. So that is done. All right, so we'll let those cool down for a moment, and I'll get my ink pad ready. Just put my my ruler away. Oh, what I didn't do is clean that stamp. We better clean that stamp while that embossing powder is cooling. Clean that stamp. There we go. All right. So we'll take our soft seafoam ink and our small blending brush, and we're just going to add just a little bit of colour to these leaves, and I'll show you the difference. That's all I'm going to add. So can you see the difference now between the one that doesn't have any colour on it and the coloured one? So it just gives a little subtle difference, just a variation in the colour. But again, this is just an added step. You don't have to add the ink if you don't want to. You can just use, because you've got the colour of the cardstock. But if you didn't have this coloured cardstock, but you had the ink, you could potentially stamp them on white and then do the ink and then rub off the excess ink with your tissue to reveal the stamped image, and that will be a bit more like the emboss resist technique, which is what the paper looks like. The Irresistible Bloom paper. Wait, what is it called? Let me get the right name. Hello Irresistible, that's the one. Yes, it has the look of the embossed resist technique, which is really cool. All right, so they're ready to go. Okay, so I'm just going to trim those from there. Let me save that piece for another project, and I think I'll cut in between each of those with some paper snips so that because we only have one die, so I'll just cut one at a time. All right, so I'll bring in our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and we'll quickly do some die cutting of these flowers and the leaves. I've got my my plates here, so I'm going to use my number 1 plate on the bottom, my number 2 plate, and have that staggered back a little bit. Then we'll put our images down. So we've got our flower, and we've got these leaves too that we also need to die cut. So I'll just cut these ones apart as well. There we go, and I've got my dies. So we'll bring out our Irresistible Blooms dies. Whoops. Okay. Okay, so we've got the large flower, so we'll take the large flower die and we'll line that up. I've got a little bit of washi tape here. I might have that upside down. Have I got that upside down? Yes, I did. Have that upside down. There we go. All right, then we'll add some washi tape to that one. Move that up the top there. Then we've got this leaf here, so we'll find the coordinating die for that one. We'll add that here and get some more washi tape. If your washi tape is really sticky, just dab it off on your clothes. If you've got a cotton shirt or jeans or something like that on, just dab it off so that it's not too sticky, because you don't want it tearing your cardstock. Some people use Post-it tape. I've been looking for Post-it tape in our local stationery store, but I haven't found it yet. So far they haven't stocked it. Well, I guess I should ask. I probably should ask them. All right, and then we'll take our other die for our 2 leaf. I know that it's available on Amazon apparently. I've not had the best of luck with Amazon, so I'm reluctant to order it through Amazon. I know a lot of people order lots of things through Amazon, but I've actually had a bad experience, so I tend not to use Amazon. Although I should have a look on eBay, because I do use eBay successfully all the time. So I should have a look on there. I can probably find it on there. But Post-it tape is good, or you can just use a sticky label, a sticky note, a Post-it note. You can use that as well to hold your dies down. Okay. Great, so there's our extra flower. Beautiful. So we're done with the flower dies now. Got all of our flowers cut. And so this would be great. This pop-up card would be great for children's birthdays, for elderly people as well, to give them an added surprise when they open their card. I think that would be really fantastic. They would love that. Or just for anyone, really. I think the surprise of a pop-up card, I think anybody would love that. So yeah, and you can use this design with lots and lots of different stamp sets. It'd be really cute with animal stamp sets. So even the new rhinos, that would be really cute. The new rhino from the Rhino Ready bundle, that would be really cute on a pop-up card. Any of your floral designs, your floral stamp sets and die bundles you can use. You could use some of your designer series paper, and if you have coordinating dies, die cut some of the designer series paper, or you could fussy cut some of the designer series paper designs. So many different ideas that you could use for these pop-up cards. All right, so what have we got now? We've got 1, 2, 3. Yep, I need one more of the double leaf. And then we'll have all of our pieces. And I'm going to show you how I created the circles on the front of my card as well. I'll show you what I did with that and which designer series paper I used for that from the pack. Okay, last one. So what's everyone got planned for the weekend? Have you got anything exciting coming up this weekend? I have my team gathering this weekend, so that's always lots of fun. So we'll be doing some creating together on Saturday. We have our team meeting first, and I welcome our new team members. We've got quite a lot of new team members to welcome this month. And then I do recognitions for my team, and I give out gift vouchers and all sorts of good things like that. And then I update everybody with the latest Stampin' Up news as I try to fit my die on die sheet. There we go. Latest Stampin' Up news. Then we draw a prize from our team creative challenge for the month. Then I announce the new creative challenge. And then we have some creative time for a couple of hours together, which is really fun. So that will be happening this weekend. I've actually got to do the post today for that to remind my team. All right, so here we've got all of our leaves. Hey, Lisa, how you going? Great to see you. You're die cutting the flowers out of the Hues of Happiness DSP with the dies. Oh, that's beautiful while you're watching my live. Fantastic. That is beautiful, beautiful paper as well. Your husband is away until Sunday, so you're having a crafting weekend on your own. Oh, that sounds awesome. Lots of great crafting. Sounds like lots of fun. All right, so let me show you how to do these pop-ups in here. Now, because you've got the folds in the pop-up, you have to be careful of your positioning of your items that you put inside, because you need that to still fold open, but also to fold flat. And you don't want any of those images catching or showing out of the front. So I'll show you how to do that. So we need 2 large flowers. So we've got those 2 there, and we want 1 small yellow, or so saffron. And then we're having our leaves. We'll put our leaves over there. We'll add them afterwards. I'm using some multi-purpose liquid glue. And what we're going to do, that's my front panel. We'll come back to that. Let's pop that over there out of the way. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to first adhere this flower on the right side. Now I want to make sure that it's within those score lines, these ones here. Okay, you can't come across those score lines, because if you do, then your card won't fold down. Okay, so I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue, and of course you don't want to stick it across all the way across either, because if you stick it across that fold, then it's not going to fold. It's not going to fold down either. So you kind of want it so that, if I show you on the back here, you kind of want it so that you've got movement in that fun fold, in that pop-up. Sorry, not fun fold, in the pop-up. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue along the bottom here of my flowers. And that's just enough to hold them. And I'm going to position them, or this one I should say, I'm going to position the petals so that they are within, oh, actually, you know what? I meant to glue the yellow one first. That's okay. I'll slide that one up. I won't push it on too hard. The yellow one is going to go down there, so I'll put a little bit of glue just on the bottom of the yellow one as well. I'll tuck it in and just pop it there, and then I can move that one up. There we go. So I've just got a little bit of glue. Oh, look, I'll take it right off. I've got a little bit of glue just on the bottom of that flower so that it's not glued beyond that score line, and it's not glued to this score line. So when that closes, see how that's going to move? And then let's just put a little bit of glue back onto this one again. And I'm going to adhere this one above it, sort of overlapping it here. Now just check on the back. If you get any glue going out of the back there, which I have, you want to wipe that off, because you don't want that sticking to this front part when you open it up. Okay, and you also don't want it sticky on the back there. So if you've got an adhesive eraser, or you can use your embossing buddy as well, because that will take off the powder from your embossing buddy, will actually stop that from being sticky. I didn't really wait for that glue to dry before trying to, when you're removing glue with a glue eraser or adhesive eraser, you are supposed to wait for it to dry. I didn't quite wait for that to dry. So it's a little bit gammy, but that's okay. I think I got it. Yes, good. All right. Okay. All right. So then just check as you are adhering that that is still going to fold down and your card will close. Okay. All right. Then we'll take the other large flower. We're going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom of that one. Lisa, are you making one of these pop-up cards as well with the Hues of Happiness flowers? Or are you doing something else with them? Because they would make a beautiful pop-up card like this. All right. So now what I discovered with my card when I did this one, this works. All right, so we've got that one in there. Oh, yes, you're planning to? Fantastic. All right, so this will fold closed, so all good. I haven't got any excess glue coming over that one, but if you listen, you can hear them, this one's catching. Can you hear that? See how, and see where I fold it back up, it's sort of caught. So what I did on this one is I just folded over that edge of the flower. So I'll show you. So where that edge is, I just opened up so make sure this is well adhered first. Open your card up so that you've got the fold showing, the folding in, I guess, like that. And then just push the edge of those leaves, or petals, I should say, over that score line, okay? And give them a little pinch so that they're sort of folded with that score line. And now it doesn't catch. See, there's no catching now. So yeah, so if you do have anything that goes over that score line in the middle, you have to, especially if it's tucking behind, you have to make sure that it's folded over. Otherwise it'll catch and it won't close properly. All right, so now we'll add our leaves. We're going to take 2 leaves, and I'm going to adhere them to the back of the yellow flower. Now, because that is sitting up free, that's okay. I can add to that. Now, you can continue to add to these flowers up this way, but you can't add down this way because you don't want to go across those score lines or it's not going to close. But you can add up higher. But just if you are adding up higher, make sure that when you close the card, whatever you add doesn't then end up poking out the side. Okay, so you don't want to go too high because it'll end up sticking out the side. All right, so then we'll add a bit of glue to the bottom of these leaves, and we're going to add them up here to the back of that flower. And then we'll do some on the other side as well. Okay, so now we've got our pop-up. So when you're adhering all of those, I would suggest just letting that glue dry before you close it tight, okay? Because you want to make sure that none of that glue is going to get onto the inside of your card or stick these 2 sides together. You don't want that. Now, if you find that what I did is I turned my card over and I just checked that there was no glue residue that had oozed out of those pieces. And if there is, again, just come in either with your glue eraser or adhesive eraser or your embossing buddy. You can just dab your embossing buddy onto the back of there just to take off that sticky. Well, it actually adds powder to the sticky, so it stops them from being sticky. And just take that off so that I tend to be quite heavy-handed with my glue, so I often get glue oozing out. But yeah, just take off any of that excess glue. Again, wait for it to dry so that you get it off properly, and then that way nothing will stick when you close your card. Okay, so then that's the pop-up mechanism. So pretty easy really, isn't it? When you know how to, it's pretty easy. So there you go. All right, so now we'll do the front of the card. So I'll leave this one open and we'll pop that aside to dry. I'll just put that over there. Okay, and now we're going to create the front. The front was quite quick and easy to do. We already have our piece of Flirty Flamingo cut, which is a quarter of a piece of A4. Okay, so we've already got that piece. Now we need a layer of white, and it's going to measure the same as the inside layer, but without taking the corners off. So here's a quarter piece of A4. So we're going to now trim this down to 10.1. by 14.45. There we go. And we'll leave our trimmer out because we're going to cut down some cardstock as well. So now you should have your 2mm border, which matches the 2mm border on the inside of your card. Okay, and next we're going to take a piece of the designer series paper and cut that down and create another 2mm border. So the one that I used from the pack was, let me find another piece of it here, this one here. So there's 4 sheets of each of these designs. They're all double-sided in this designer series paper pack, because there's a total of 48 sheets. And it's such beautiful paper. So this is the one that I used. You could even use the other side if you wanted to. but I'll create another one exactly the same. So this piece is going to measure 9.7, and I want the yellow side, so I want 9, because we've got more sort of pinky tones on this side, more yellowy tones on this side, so I wanted the yellowy tones. So I'm going to go 9.7 on my trimmer. Cut that. Save that piece because you can use that for another project. And then we want to take this to 14.05, so just beyond the 14, not quite up to the 14.1. And then you can save this piece as well. In fact, you could even use this piece to decorate the inside if you wanted to. You could add that to there, which would look really nice actually, because that then also brings in the outside decorations to the inside as well. All right, so that piece should be, that should give you your 2mm border. Now don't adhere them yet because we're going to wrap some ribbon. Okay, so we don't want to adhere them just yet, but that will give you your layers with your 2mm, 2mm. Okay. All right. So next, what we're going to do is I've done this part ahead. I've cut a strip which measures 3 centimeters by 14.05. Okay, so same length as your designer series paper, but this is 3 centimeters. I think it was 3, let me measure. Yep, 3 centimeters wide. I ran that through my embossing folder as I showed you at the beginning, the embossing folders. So ran that through with those embossing folders. And now we're just going to ink the edges. So I have got here somewhere, there it is, a sponge dauber. And I'm going to use my Flirty Flamingo ink this time. So just pop those layers over to the side. And we're just going to ink the 2 outside edges. I love using my sponge daubers. If you haven't used the sponge daubers before, they are a great colouring tool. They come in a pack of 5 in the pack, and they're a great colouring tool to use with your inks. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to double check the length of this, make sure I cut that. Oh yeah, that's okay. I will do the ends as well. Wasn't sure if I'd cut it a little bit long, but it's okay. So I'll do the ends as well. There we go. Okay. We are going to use this again to dauber around our circles, but we haven't got to that point yet, so we'll just leave that for the moment. Okay. So what you can do is put aside your card front. You can lay these pieces together, or sorry, attach these pieces together. So we'll use a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue. I'll adhere my designer series paper to my white cardstock layer. Okay, so I love using the multi-purpose liquid glue because it gives you that wiggle time. You can slide it around and get it all lined up beautifully. There we go, and we'll attach our embossed piece with our new embossing folder. And I'm going to attach this just in about 3 millimeters from the edge, just so we can see a little bit of that designer series paper along the edge there. You can use your grid paper to help you to line it up. So if you've got grid paper, it is great to help you line things up. Okay, all right, then we're going to take some of our ribbon. So I'm using today the the gold satin edged ribbon, and we're going to cut a strip. So I'm going to cheat with this one. I'm not doing an actual bow. So I'm just going to cut a strip that's a couple of centimeters, or maybe just a centimeter, centimeter and a half longer than the piece of cardstock. Okay. And then I'm going to cut an additional piece, which will be about, oh, I don't know how long that is. Let's see. Let's measure. Let's measure how long that is. Probably about 10 centimeters or so. Oh, it's 12 actually. It might be a little bit long, but we can trim it down. That's okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to use some glue dots to attach this ribbon, this piece, this long strip of ribbon. So I'll just pop a glue dot on each end. I love the mini glue dots for ribbon. They are fantastic. I mean, you can use them to adhere your layers too if you want to, but yeah, I love them especially for ribbon. So we're just lining that up in the center and of your embossed piece, and then just wrapping the end over, because we've got that adhesive on the end there. So just wrapping that around. You don't want to pull it too tight at this point because, oh, I didn't get that straight in the middle. Let's do that again. Good thing I love about glue dots too is usually you can lift them back up and reposition. So let's do that again. That's better. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take this extra little piece of ribbon and slide that under and just simply tie a knot to create a little knot bow. Okay, so that was a little bit long. We probably could have got away with just having 10 centimeters, and then we're going to trim the ends off like that. Oh, that one's still a little bit long. There we go. And then we have a knot bow. Now, once you get your knot in the position where you want it, then what I suggest you do is to grab another glue dot. I like to use my take your pick tool with the paper piercing end, and just grab one of those glue dots. I'm just going to fold it in half, and I'm going to slip it underneath that knot. That'll help that knot to just stay put, not come undone, and it's going to stop it from sliding around as well. Okay, so it's not going to come off your card. All right, so now that panel is ready to adhere to your Flirty Flamingo layer. Okay, so then we'll just add our adhesive here to this one. Is anybody else crafting along with me today? We've got Lisa crafting along. She's preparing some flowers to create this card, cutting out her beautiful Hues of Happiness Designer Series paper. All right, so then we'll just attach that to there like so. There we go. And now we can do our decorating, which is the quickest part, I think, really. So we're going to bring in our 2-inch circle punch and our 1 3/4 inch circle punch, which have, these punches were available quite a while ago actually, and they got retired. And now Stampin' Up! Has brought them back again in the online exclusive. So you won't find them in a catalogue. So they're only in the online exclusives, but you'll find them there. Okay, so now we want to bring in our Designer Series paper again. And there's a few different sheets that you can use for this, but I'm going to use this one. I probably can't get any more circles. Oh, I probably might be able to get a circle out of that one. Actually, I've already got one. Is that the right size? No, that's a smaller one. So that's okay. I think, what did I end up doing? Oh, I did end up using the 2-inch. I did have, the first time I did also punch a 1 3/4 inch circle, but then when I was laying them over each other, I discovered that that one just was a little bit small for what I wanted. You could have a smaller one there if you wanted to, but I ended up actually using the 2 inches in the end. So lucky I found that one, because otherwise I would have had one that was the wrong size, but it still would work. But yeah, so you can either use the 2 inch or the 1 3/4 inch. So if I'm using the 2 inch, I probably won't get another one out of that. So I'll just pop the 1 3/4 inch punch away again. There we go. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is, if you're not used to the Stampin' Up! Punches, the Stampin' Up! Punches are a nice, solid, strong punch. They do fold flat so that they can be stored really well. So what you do is they come with a button on the back. Just push that button up with your thumbs to release that locking mechanism, and that pops them open, and then they're ready to use. Sometimes if that button accidentally flicks back down when you're using it, the punch won't fully close. So if ever you're having trouble and you're thinking, oh, my punch isn't working, it's not closing, just check the position of your button, push it back up again, and then it'll close all the way down, okay? So when it's open, you should have that full gap through there, okay? So you know that that's in the opening position. Now I'm going to see, I don't think I'm going to get that in there. No, I'm not. Okay, let's forget that. We'll save that, the flowers on. So the dies that come in the bundle, so in the Irresistible Blooms dies, these dies will actually cut out the flowers in this designer series paper. So these aren't going to be wasted. I'll still be able to use my dies to get around those 3 flowers there. And then these ones at the edges, you can actually die cut those and have them on the edges of your cardstock, the edges of your card as well. So don't throw them out if you've just got those little half flowers, because you can still use those on your projects as well. You just have them sort of going off the edge of your card rather than having, you know, a full solid flower. You can even use those on the insides of your card as well. But yeah, you can die cut them. So I'm going to keep that piece because it's still a usable piece. So don't throw that away. But I want to show you how I got the flowers out of this one with the circles. So all I did was I took my circle punch and I simply cut the flowers out in a circle. Very easy. So I've got a, I'll take this other large one first. So I've got 2 large flowers, and then there's some smaller flowers on here as well. So let's get this small one here. So they're all the same size circle, but we've got the 2 large flowers and the smaller flower, which coordinate with the flowers in your stamps as well. They're the same image. Okay, and they're the same size. So if you wanted to, you could actually stamp the flower and then punch them out on a circle. Yeah, and then you could use them that way too. That's another way you could do the same design but change it up a little bit. All right, so that was nice and easy with our designer series paper and our punch. Then what we're going to do is we'll bring in that Flirty Flamingo ink, and we're going to dauber some ink around the edges. So usually with my daubers, I have a sticker on them because I have one for every color. But this is a brand new one that I opened last night because my old Flirty Flamingo dauber was actually starting to perish. I'd had that one for a really, really long time, and it just needed replacing. There we go. So can you see the difference with the ink around the edges? It just lifts it a little bit. Just lifts the edges and makes them a little bit prettier. Now, if you don't have the circle punch, you could use circle dies to do this same thing. Just find a coordinating circle that just fits the size around that large flower. Or if you wanted to, instead of doing the circles on the front, you could use your dies and die cut your flowers and have your die cut flowers on the front. I haven't got any more of the large flowers, but yeah, you could have, and you might even want to have just plain die cut circles or something, and then just lay these on top. Or you could flip that designer series paper over and use the other side of the designer series paper. Let me see, actually. Let me grab that other circle that I had. Here. There it is. This is a smaller circle, but see how we've got that other pattern on the back? So you could even use that pattern and put, I would mount probably with some dimensionals, some mounting foam, and have your flower on that circle and have it on the front. So that's another way you could do it too. So there's all different ways that you can do it. So I can't wait to see yours, Lisa, when you finish yours. Be sure that you add it into our Papercraft Gems group, because I would love to see it. It's going to be beautiful. There we go. Okay, so they are done. All right, so we'll pop that away for the moment. So they are ready to add. Okay, and we've got a couple more leaves that we're going to add. And then we also need our sentiment label too. So we'll add these and then we'll add our sentiment label. All right, so we're going to have two of these are going to be adhered flat. Oops, the two large flowers, that's the smaller one. So the two large ones are going to be adhered flat, and then the small one is going to be popped up onto some dimensionals. So I'll put those on now. So just add those to the back. So dimensional, Stampin' dimensionals are just 3D mounting foam, and they're just cut into hexagon shapes, which makes them really easy. So you don't have to cut them down, or you can cut them down even smaller if you need them smaller. But we do have minis as well. So we have the mini Stampin' dimensionals as well if you need something a bit smaller. There we go. So we'll add those in there like that. And then this one is going to be added with the dimensionals just to pop that up. So we'll remove the paper backing off that one. And I want this one to overlap the ribbon a little bit as well. So it's going to overlap those two circles and then overlap the ribbon a little bit too. Okay, and then we're going to add some leaves in there. So just pop a little bit of glue on the back of our leaves. I'm going to slip that in under there. That one there, and this one's going to go down here. Like that. And then we need to just add our sentiment label. Then we can pop that onto our card front and our card will be done. All right, now for the sentiment label, I have somewhere in here, oh, there it is. Oh, look, I did have another leaf ready. Forgot I had that one. I'll put that with the other flowers. I've got a little strip of cardstock here which measures 3/4 of an inch wide. And the reason that is measured in inches is because I'm going to use the Lovely Labels Pick a Punch, and it has 3 different sizes in 2 different shapes. Okay, so you've got 2 different shaped ends on them, 3 different sizes. So you've got 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, and 1 inch. Okay, so I've measured that to fit in the 3/4 of an inch groove. I'm going to slide that in to the end, and I'm going to punch one end. Whoop. Line that up nice and straight, punch that end. Okay, then what I'm going to do, that little piece that I have just punched out, I'm going to use that one as a measure, but before I use that to measure to where I'm going to cut the other end, I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to stamp my sentiment. So I'm going to use the Flirty Flamingo ink. I'm using the Hello sentiment from the Irresistible Blooms stamp set, which I already have on my block. And I'm going to stamp this on that label. Make sure that's nice and straight, using my grid paper again to line that up. There we go. So we've got our Hello sentiment. Actually, I'm going to need that ink again, so I'll leave that out. Just dab that off and I'll give this a clean. Oh, you will? Fantastic, Lisa. Can't wait to see it. Very exciting. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, that extra little piece that I snipped off the end there, or punched, I should say, off the end there, okay, that shows me how much cardstock that takes off the end when you put your cardstock in and push it all the way to that straight edge. Okay, so if you put the cardstock in, push it all the way to the straight edge. See that there? Then that is how much it snips off. So I can now use that as a measure on the other end to line that up so that I can work out the same amount of space either end of my sentiment. So probably about there is where I want to be cutting my cardstock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil. Where that straight edge is, I'm going to put a little pencil mark, and this is the detailed edge. This is where the detailed edge will cut. So that straight edge is where I'm going to trim my cardstock. So I'll show you that. Bring in my trimmer. And I use my trimmer when I do that to make sure it's nice and straight, rather than using paper snips, because I'm going to be putting this into my punch and I want that to line up really nice and straight in my punch. Okay. And I'm going to slide that in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it upside down and put it on that little track and see how that's sitting nice and snug now in that little 3/4 inch track. And I'm going to slide that in. Now, if you find your piece is too short, because depending on the length of your, your piece, and this is too short because I've just lost it. Come back out. What I'm going to do is use, where did I put it now? Oh, it's here. I have made these little punch handles. These are my little punch handles, and I've got some little templates here too. These are just made with some Stampin' Up! Window sheet, which is the clear acetate. And what I've done is I've made one, these are particularly for the picker punches. So I've got 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch. And they're just a strip of window sheet. Then what I've done is I've added a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue to one end and let that dry, because when you let that dry it stays tacky and becomes like a repositionable glue. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach that onto my label. Okay, so now I've created a handle. So now I can put my piece in here. This piece, the window sheet, will sit inside the track because it's a 3/4 inch, and I know it's going to fit in the 3/4 inch track beautifully. And it helps me to position my cardstock inside my punch when you have a short piece. Okay, so I've got that pushed right up against the edge there, and I'm going to punch, take that out. This will come back off the back because that glue is dried and it's just tacky. And there I have my label, perfectly positioned. And there is my little piece that I cut off that end. And then my little measure piece that I cut off the other end. Oh, there it is. There's the little piece that came off the other end. See? So there's just another little trick for you. So I keep these on here and I just keep them in a plastic sleeve. So there you go. So there's another little tip for you. So when you punch these little ends off, keep them and use them as a little measuring stick. All right, let's put some ink around the edge of our sentiment label as well now, because in keeping with the rest of our card, we want this to match as well. And yes, I do this technique on a lot of my cards. It's my favorite technique. I think it's sort of become my signature technique. It's the Mandy daubering edge technique. It's not really my technique, but it's one I use all the time. Okay, and now we can pop this onto our card front layer. Here we go. I want to pop it up on off this layer here. So what I'm going to do, because this layer is already up on dimensionals and I'm adding an extra dimensional here, that's creating 2 layers. So I'm going to have 1 layer on this end, and on the other end I'm going to create 2 layers of dimensional. So I'm putting 1 down, take the backing off that one and add an extra one on the top. And in that way, it'll make the sentiment label sit nice and flat and it won't be wonky. Okay, remove those backings, flip that over and position my label there like that. There we go. All right, now this is ready to go on to, oh, we can add our bling. Let's add our bling. So our loose frosted dots. We might need our tweezers as well for this, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the putty end to pick these up, but I need my, because the putty end is quite sticky, I need my tweezers to help release that once I put it down. So, all right, so I've picked up my glue dot with my putty end and I'm just going to position them where I want them. I'm not going to glue them just yet because I want to make sure I get them in the right spot. And for the moment I can use my nail to release them because I don't have glue on them yet. There's a little tiny one there. Whoops, a little tiny one. Oh, that's upside down still. Go up the right way. There we go. There, and we'll find another little tiny one. There's one in there. No, yep, there it is. So that one's going to go there. Over you go. There we go. And then we'll get another large one and we'll add the extra large one down here. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do with these, I find the easiest way is to apply your glue where you want your little frosted dots to sit. So I'll pick up my frosted dot with my take your pick tool with the putty end. I'm going to add a tiny little dab of glue where I want that to adhere, and I'm going to use my tweezers to just release that from, there we go, from my take your pick tool, because that putty is quite sticky. Okay, we'll do the same with the little one. Only want a tiny little dab of glue for the little ones. So you don't want that glue to ooze. Oh. There we go. Good. This one here. Oh, thank you, Laurie. I'm glad you like my card. Do you know, I actually agonized over this card last night. I sat here for the longest time. I didn't get to bed till 2 o'clock. In the end, I think it was 2:30. Headed to bed just before 2 o'clock. I agonized and agonized over the front because the inside looked so pretty with the flowers, with the pop-up. I really agonized over the front, and I kept changing it. I wasn't happy with it, and in the end I had to walk away. Do you ever do that, where you've just looked at a card too much for too long and you just have to walk away and come back to it with a different perspective? And then when I came back to it, I thought, oh, actually it's not that bad. And then I think just adding the extra little flowers made a difference, and then adding the bling made a difference, and the way I was fiddling with how I was going to position the circles. And yeah, I'm actually happy now with how it turned out, but I was just looking and looking and looking for too long at it last night. And I was tired too. All right, so that is now our front panel done. We've got the inside of our card done. They're nice and dry now, and you can see they're popping up beautifully. Now, if you find that your card is wanting to pop up on its own a little bit too much, just go back over those fold lines again, those scored lines, just burnish those again. And we are going to be adding some weight to the front now, so that's going to help to hold that on. So this is complete. We can just add our adhesive. Oh, now one trick with this is because we're adding it onto this panel that is angled, you don't want to add adhesive to your card front. What you want to do is add the adhesive to your card base, okay, because we've got this angle here. So we're going to add the glue here. Luckily, I just remembered that because I was about to put glue. I was about to do the wrong thing and put glue on the card front piece. Oops, got a little bit too close there. There we go. Okay, so now we've got our glue on the card base. We're going to take our card front and attach that. So we're just going to line up the two bottom edges and that top edge, and that's sticking up there. That's interesting. Okay, I'll come back to that. So I'm just going to stand it up on the end, tap that down, stand it up on the long end, tap that down, and then once I'm happy that that's all lined up, I'm going to press that down firmly, making sure that all of those edges are nice and lined up so that it's nice and square. All right, then we can open that up and just give a press from the inside. Make sure that's all nice, and then just check your edges, make sure that it's all lined up, especially along this folded edge here. Just make sure that's nice and pressed on nice and firmly, and across your angled edge there, make sure that's all pressed down nice and firmly. And there we have our card. Now I just noticed that this petal here, when I close that, it's just sticking, it's just poking out the top a little bit there, which my first card didn't do that. So I must have just adhered that up a little bit too high. Which leaf is it? Oh, it's out too far to the side. That's what it is, that one. So just be careful of that when you are attaching your pieces to the inside. Just close your card and make sure that you can't see it. I actually didn't look closely enough because now I can see. Can you see how that's just sticking out of the top there? I don't think it's a major issue because it's a green leaf, the same as these ones, so it kind of is not super noticeable. But yeah, just be careful of that when you're attaching your pieces to the inside. And that little one there is still catching, so I think I need to fold that a bit more. I need to give that a bit more of a press to make that sit down better. There we go. That's better. Yeah, there we go. So there is our finished pop-up card. So thank you again so much to my friend Fiona Carson in New Zealand, who demonstrated how to do this pop-up card on her Facebook Live a couple of weeks ago. So thank you so much, Fiona, for teaching us how to make that, because that is beautiful. So there you go. So look out for those online exclusive products in the online store because they are really beautiful. And they're, you know, you can just play with them in so many different ways. We've done a bridge fold card. We've done, actually, let me see. I'll grab the other cards that I made with them. I think, let's bring my trolley over. I think I still have them here, or did I already put them out? Oh no, there's one. There's the bridge fold. And, oh, there's the other one. There's the other one. So I'll show you those ones. So if you missed my lives in the last couple of weeks, these are the other projects that I made with the Hello Irresistible. That one's a bridge fold card, so it stands up like that. So these are the other projects that I made with this sweet. Oh, actually, we've got another color of this one too. Is that in here as well? Let's see. Oh, yeah, there it is. I've got another one. So this suite is really beautiful. There's the other one. So I've got two of those ones. Aren't they pretty? And that's our pop-up card that we made today. And this one is just, this one is actually using our, oh, hi, Vicky, all the way from Arizona. Oh, wow. It's so lovely to have you with us. Yeah, this one is using our sketch for the month for our team challenge. This one here. So, yeah, so that's a really pretty one as well. So there you go. So there's a few cards made with the Hello Irresistible suite products from the online exclusives. So check them out. Remember that if you're shopping with me and you're purchasing over $75, remember to use my host code. Now, if you're placing a large order and it's over $250, don't use the host code because you'll be, Stampin' Up! Will give you Stampin' Rewards on that order and you need to claim those before you check out, okay? Because they can't be carried over to another order. So be sure that you do claim those. But yeah, if there's anything I can help you with, you know what? I'm going to flip the camera up to say goodbye to you face to face, actually. I always like to do that. So easy but so effective. Yes. That's so right, Lisa. Yes. All right, let me just flip the camera back up so that I can say goodbye to you properly. I always like to do that face to face. I think that's so much nicer. And I'll put this back up. Okay, here we go. Then I can finish chatting to you. There we go. Okay. Fix up my light so I'm not sitting in the dark. Oh, this one always is difficult when I'm trying to reposition it. Never wants to stay where I want it to sit. There we go. Whenever I finish my lives, or I'm finishing my lives and I flip that one back over, it always wants to fall down. So it's getting tired, I think. It's had a lot of use over the last few years. So anyway, so there you go. So there's our little pop-up card. So isn't that cool? So cute. I hadn't made one of those until this card. So yeah, so I really liked that. I'll have to do some more of those. Might even show my team this weekend how to make that one. Although some of my team are on here today and some of them will probably catch the replay too. But yeah, but definitely check out those online exclusive products. They are beautiful. And there's more there that I haven't shown you today because some of them were only released to us as well as demonstrators yesterday. We do get, as demonstrators, we do get to order products early, but with the online releases, there were some products that they kept secret from us too, so we didn't get to see them until yesterday. So they are super awesome, so be sure to check them out. But if there's anything that I can help you with, if you have any questions, if you don't already have a demonstrator in Australia and you're looking for one, I would love to look after you. I love to give my customers the best customer service possible. So please reach out to me if there's anything I can help you with, if you need help with orders or you have product questions. If you have questions about joining my team, then I would love to answer those as well. If you need catalogs as well, then also let me know and I'd be happy to send you my catalog request link so that I can get your details to send those out to you as well. So I think that's all for today. Oh, hey, Dimity, we are just finishing up actually. So you'll have to go back and watch the replay. We made this beautiful pop-up card today. I showed everybody how to make that pop-up today using some of the brand new online exclusive products. So I hope you all have a great weekend. We're coming up on the weekend. Today is Thursday, the 2nd of March. So yeah, one more day and then it's the weekend. So I hope you all have a great weekend. I'm going to have a great afternoon with my team on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to that. And Sunday is my day off. So that's usually the day I catch up on things and have a sleep in and yeah, just relax a little bit. So looking forward to that. Oh, you're welcome, Lisa. No worries. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your support in coming along. All right, well, I'll let you all go on with your day and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. I'll be back on Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. And again next Thursday. So that's Australian Eastern Daylight Time, by the way. We are still in daylight savings for another few weeks. So I look forward to seeing you again soon. So take care, everyone. Have a great weekend. Happy crafting. Bye.